I swear.
Go on, Jackson.
Yeah, one of the things that Nelson said, I think the salary issue. The bosses here are paid good, so they are motivated to even motivate us to go to come away. Back home, the boss is getting versus and you expect him to
Hey,
start
wait.
motivating. So they are not motivated. Yeah. So
Like it was the dumbest idea that the people in the past thought of.
That's a huge call, but okay.
Okay, yeah, but honestly, if I think about it, even I think I've learned the most outside the classroom. Like,
That's true.
yeah, the other December, I had worked with another woman. Her name is Alina Karimamsama. She's a change maker in Zambia. She does great things. Um, I interned with her. You guys obviously know Vika Tivo. I hope you know Vika Tivo. You don't know Vika? Oh my god!
Well, now we do.
I've been able to do ABCD. Even if it's just one person, you've created change. So as Jackson said, like you can create change even right now, even just by speaking to people, because that's all I do. I just speak to people also. Change how you view success and don't think of it as it has to be grand, it has to be big. For you to think that you've created change, you have to have a conference that has 5,000 people. I had 25 kids. Like in the first few times, I probably just had like 10 people. We probably let's say work is starting at 8. Why do you want me to be there at 7:20? Like, oh, you need to clean this, so you need to do very unnecessary things that were not written in your responsibility. What? And
Yeah.
but then they're piling them up on you, but you're not increasing my salary. Are you mad?
all right. Hi everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. This is gonna be a wonderful, wonderful episode. Our guest is somebody I've known for a very long time. So please just chill and relax and and enjoy, and hopefully you can get some amazing nuggets from whatever we're gonna talk about. Yeah. Without further ado, I'll pass it on to Nelly. Introduce yourself, let people know who you are, and yep.
Okay, thank you. Hi everyone. My name is Nelly. Kalukango, if you want to know my last name. I am I don't know. I think I would say I'm a student right now. I'm a second year student at Georgetown in Qatar. I don't know what I'm studying yet, but it's something to do with like politics, international relations. I haven't yet decided what I really want to concentrate in when I'm like passionate about education and the youth and all that good stuff. Um, what else? I don't know. Yeah, Jackson said we've known each other for a long time. I'm just happy to be here, to be honest. Yeah.
Nice, nice. You know that thing where in an interview when they're asking you to say tell us about yourself, and for a second you just go blank.
I don't know myself anymore. I just know my name.
You
Quite
guys,
bad.
it's a second. Me, it's the entire time they're asking me that question. I'm like, oh God, can you just look at my resume?
Exactly. It literally has a whole section telling them about
Yep.
who you are. I don't know why they ask us that question. I don't like interviews.
It's so weird.
Well, this won't be like
Speaking
one
of
of those
interviews,
interviews.
I just wanted to understand the process of how you got to Qatar, some of the things you encountered, some of the challenges you faced, and
Mm,
yeah, just explain to us how you got there and all the steps.
okay. So I first went to, I think it's a high school. I would say it's a high school, but it's like a pre-university program in South Africa called the African Leadership Academy. So I knew a few of my friends from there that had come to this school, and that's why I knew about it. Because like before that, I didn't even know that there was a country called Qatar at all.
I'm sorry, I missed you.
Exactly. And then um I really liked the foreign service program that Georgetown has, because I felt like it was the only program that was very directly related to what I'm very passionate about. And like I can also like for my major, I sort of like designed my own major, so it was like very. I just really enjoyed it, but then I didn't want to come to the US because I just felt like it was too much stress. Like it wasn't an environment I wanted. So when I found out that they have a branch campus in Qatar, I was like, ah, perfect. So I'm just going to go there. The application process, though, it's not as difficult for sure, not as difficult as the US or the UK. I think the only thing that was complicated was like you need to have an English test, but I just did a Duolingo test and I did well. Um, I think it's so funny because I applied to Qatar 3 days before the deadline because I had a gap year after high school because I didn't know where to go, and all the schools that they were suggesting to me were US schools, and I'm like, I don't want to go to the US. And so 3 days before, my counselor calls me and she's like, I think I found the perfect school for you. So she tells me about it. I'm like, okay, I love it. I write a whole personal statement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, person.
Yeah, I just wrote it. I didn't even like proofread or edit, whatever. Wrote it, submitted, and then they called me and they're like, oh, okay, interview set. And the interview was like the best interview I've ever had in my life. Because I think when you're talking about things that you're really passionate about, it's just easy to talk about them. You don't need to plan or overthink it. But that was good. Like I can't say I had much trouble. Apart from the English test, everything was great. It's a pretty seamless process. Yeah,
Nice.
I answered
You
your
said,
question.
yeah, I think you've you've given a very good starting point. You
Mm.
said the interview was the best. What made it the best?
Um, I think the first reason is that I was interviewed by a woman,
Mhm.
but I really like that it was easy to relate, and she was also relatively young. And the second thing is she literally told me it's a conversation, and like I had never had that experience before. Every time when I
Mhm.
had an interview, it was super formal. It was super like strict. But she was like, let's
Yeah.
just have a conversation, and it was free flowing. She didn't have like a lot of set questions. I think she just had like two or three questions that were set, and then the interview was supposed to be like 25 minutes long, and I promise you we talked for an hour. Like when Zoom keeps bringing that kind of thing for its time up, and she just keeps canceling.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I think we should talk more. And I was like, oh my god. And I knew that I've gotten in from that, like, because there's no we talk for that long time and then you reject me. So it was really, really it was so good. Like I just knew that I was gonna get in. So I think the free flow, sort of like your vibe here, guys, on the podcast, that's what I think made it the best interview so far.
I think you're skipping a step. Let's take it back a bit. How did
Okay.
you go from taking a gap year in high school or after high school to
Mhm.
going to the to SA? Like, how did you get into that program? Because it seems
Oh,
that program then gave you the foundation to get into the program that you're in now.
yes. Oh my God. Everything is it's so complicated. But I know Jackson
Mm.
understands. So
Hmm.
let me start from primary school.
Okay, please.
Yes. So
Hmm.
at grade 7, we had an organization that came to our schools, and they were looking for like really smart kids that like needed help to go to like really high quality schools, and they pay for us and everything. That was a rigorous process because we had to do applications, and then they came to our schools and they did in-person interviews, and then they came to our homes and we did interviews with our
Oh
family,
wow.
and then we moved to a school to write exams.
Really?
It was
Wow.
a
Yeah.
long process. And imagine you're just in grade 7 and you have to talk to these people that are in suits. I didn't even know what was happening. I was just vibing. But yeah, we went through that, and then we got accepted. And then that's how I went to Pestalozzi. A few other people in my batch went to Charlo. So the school used to take us to two schools, Pestalozzi Education Center and Charlo Trust School. And so yeah, I went to Pestalozzi. I was there for my entire secondary school. And then through the organization, after grade 12, they sort of give you like help you apply to different schools. And so at that time, I initially wanted to go to university, but I missed a deadline for a school that I really wanted to go to at that time. I thought I wanted to go to Brown because I thought I'm so smart. I need to go to an IB. And then, and then I missed the deadline. And then after I missed that deadline, I was just like, yeah, no, I don't apply anywhere else. No school is good enough for me. And then I realized that like if I would have even gone there, I didn't know what I was going. I think I was gonna do like some science course. I know nothing about science. Like I hate it. Like I would have literally had the most miserable life in uni. And so I stayed home. Did I stay home? Is there a gap year between grade 12 and it's not really a gap year. Because you
Yeah, in
graduate
Zambia, you're kind of expected to take it.
yeah, you graduate in November, but you go to school the following year, September. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah. So LA was actually a last minute option for me because I was like, should I stay home again another year to go to uni that time? So my mom was just like, okay, maybe just go.
Mhm.
And see what it's about. If you don't like it, you can just like I guess drop out and then go to uni. And then yeah, so that's how I went to LA through that organization. And then when I went to LA is the one that helped me get to Georgetown,
So when you say LA, what does the acronym mean?
African Leadership Academy.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Oh, LA,
Mm-hmm.
African Leadership Academy. Ah,
Yeah.
gotcha. Nice. I had a follow-up question. Throughout this, right, you have clearly made it known that you didn't really know, you kind of still do not know what you want to study. Um, and that's a question that most people ask themselves after high school, right? I feel like our Zambian system doesn't really equip us with that information of like, oh, I feel like I'm interested in this, so I'll
Yeah.
pursue this. It's sort of like you have to figure it out by yourself. How has that process been like for you? And how are you handling it?
Mm. I think it's been very confusing, especially because, like as you said, the Zambian system, education system, sort of leads you to one path. Like I thought I wanted to do science or
Mhm.
natural sciences because that's where the system pushes you. Because they tell you
Sure.
if you're smart, you got ones at grade 12 in sciences, you would definitely love this. I did. I
Mhm.
got ones because I had to get ones. Like I had no other choice. And I think the first thing I started to do was cancel out what I knew for sure I didn't want to do. So
Mhm.
I cancelled out anything natural sciences, as I've said. Mentioned. I keep saying this because I was trying to get
That's how much you hate it.
yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I cancelled out math. I knew math is not for me. Yeah, anything that has to do with like what else don't I like? I don't know. But yeah, I would say the first thing I've started doing is canceling that what I genuinely don't like. And then now I'm focusing more on like seeing how I can merge things that I'm really, really good at outside
Mhm.
academics, all those things, like what actually makes me happy as a person, into like how would it bring me money? And then sort of
Mhm.
try to see if I can find a common ground between that and like if there's a job I can do, if maybe I would have to start up something. Um yeah, but I really, yeah, I'm still in that confusion. But I know for sure I enjoy, as I said, like being with young people. So like anything education, anything youth related, and like development and stuff. I'm just in that area.
Nice. That sounds like you're really in a great place to actually try all those things out. Does your school deliberately give you these opportunities or this freedom to, I think at the beginning you said they allow you to sort of make your own curriculum or something like that?
Mhm.
How does that work? At what point do you get to decide to say, okay, now this is what I want to do, and how long does it then take you to get to that point? Because you're still in university, but you're not doing your course per se. So are you just taking like
Mhm.
general coursework that anyone
Mhm.
is required to take?
Yeah, so after yeah, the first 2 years you definitely take general coursework. You just take everything like um it's I love and hate that because like I've been able to learn stuff from classes I would have never taken if I concentrate if I had declared my major maybe at the beginning of first year. Like I never knew I would
Yeah.
enjoy philosophy classes and I would have never thought of taking philosophy. But like it's made me see the world in a different view. And I think I see the importance of that. Like I've
Hmm.
taken I had to take a physics class last semester. I almost completed it, but at the end, like it was a bit fun. I failed it, but like it was nice.
I was not prepared for that plot twist.
No, I actually did so bad, but I don't hate the experience. I think I'm able to see the world through different lenses. Um, After second year, so now at this time, this is when I'm actually going to be taking classes that I only want to take, classes that I think are actually related to what I want to do in future.
Mhm.
Is my school supportive? Yes, actually. So I think even outside our academics, we have a lot of opportunities to explore stuff that we're passionate about. So for example, last December, I applied for this thing called the SIPS Fund. It's Social Innovation for Public Service Fund,
Mhm.
and I got funding to carry out a project. And I went home and I had a boot camp. Thank you. I had a boot camp with about
Mishi Mishi.
yeah, yeah. I had a boot camp with about 25 kids. So the boot camp was about I was trying to find the intersection between sexual exploitation and poverty, basically, because I feel like girls from low income backgrounds are more prone to like sexual exploitation, and it keeps them out of school. Because I'm passionate about education, I want girls to stay in school. So it
Mhm.
was just about teaching the young people about consent, about entrepreneurial leadership also, so that they can be empowered and like have a change maker mindset. So I did that because of Georgetown. And yeah, I think it's very intentional about just like giving you so many opportunities, because there's so many other things you can do apart from that fund.
Yeah. Was this a one-time thing, type of a boot camp, or are you going to be doing it more?
I would love to do it more,
Mm-hmm.
but the money, but we'll see. I'm trying to think of ways to like make it run, because like the problem with being a social entrepreneur is you can't make the people that you're offering the service pay, because
Yeah.
they need it, like, and they don't have the money. They're
Mm-hmm.
minority groups. So it's like I'm not selling them the product, I'm giving them the product because I know they need it. But then I now need to find the people who are going to pay me for doing that. And so
Yeah.
that's where I probably have to like work with governments, work with organizations. But I also like there's information is not really out there about how to do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in Zambia. Everything is so hidden. I don't know why they hide things from us. I don't understand.
I swear. And remember, Nelson, this is what we're talking about this December. How it's
Yeah.
so hard to get information in Zambia. And we're
Mm,
hopefully gonna find a solution for that.
you guys should please like put it somewhere
Stuff.
online, create a website, something, because it's so difficult. Even just when you're doing normal research for a class about the smallest things in Zambia,
I swear.
At
the
if
smallest
you
Even
know,
just about a company, you are looking for something. You can't find information about any company in Zambia.
and even if you
and
email them, they don't respond.
They
exactly,
don't
even if you
respond.
find things and you reach out to them, for you to even get a response, you'd be very lucky.
You
But
want to,
yeah, it's something that we as a country really need to work on. So tell
yeah.
me, how was that experience? You said you had 25 kids.
Mm.
How how did you feel at the beginning and at the end? I imagine it must have been so fulfilling.
It was. I think at the beginning I was very excited. I just thought it would run smoothly because I'm a planner. I like to plan stuff. I like to write things down. I thought, oh, surely it's going to be easy. And then I went home and I had to find the kids. I didn't know even finding the participants was hard. I'm like, where are my kids? Then I started finding people that were applying, and then parents were calling me. Why are you going to
Mm.
teach our kids about sex? I said, I'm not teaching them. Yo, I suffered. Like it was a lot. And they're like, are you sure it's not LGBTQ? Because
Mm.
in school, you're in the USA, wazungu, bakunda bama LGBTQ. Nivichana
That's a valid point. How did you handle all that?
I had to remind them that I'm Christian. I had to
Hmm.
tell them that I'm Zambian. Like, no, my school is a Jesuit school. It was hard. Like, I feel like has a very conservative
Conservative.
mindset.
Yeah.
And like yeah, I don't even know how I handled it. I think it was just good. Because to be honest, sometimes I didn't know how to answer them. I was just like, you know what, it's fine. I'll find another child. I hope someone else applies. Or I told the kid, like, try to explain it to your parents in a way that you understand it for you to be to want
Mhm.
to come. Um, but that was hard. And then the actual planning, and then
Yeah.
making payments, doing all these things, bookings. You know, you don't think about all those stuff beforehand. In the
Hmm.
moment, it was great, but it was also hard because I had people that were volunteering, my friends,
Hmm.
but the coursework that I was teaching wasn't stuff that even them had been exposed to, because we don't learn about consent in school in Zambia. We don't learn about entrepreneurial leadership. You don't know anything about even how to be a leader in the Zambian concept. So it's
Yeah.
like I was also like I had to teach the people that were volunteering with me, and then some of them are not very confident to be like, oh, I can teach these guys, and so I had to like multitask and be the facilitator, be the teacher, and then everyone's coming to ask you, there's no food because it was a boot camp, so we were staying literally isolated from everyone. So
Hmm.
I had to like everyone. I felt like my head was going to explode at some point. I was like, I'm just going to give up. Let's just cancel this. Let's go home. Um, but we pushed through, and afterwards, just like on the final day, the kids were just like, no, we don't want to go home,
Oh,
let's stay. And I was like, that's so sweet. And they wrote me like notes. I haven't yet read them, but notes of like the experience and all that. It was very fulfilling, and I really really hope that one day I could do it for more kids, and hopefully we'll be able to help Zambia.
what was the criteria for these kids to come in? Was there
So
any
I
sort of bias to people who knew you or people
know
who had access to you? Like, was it
mm,
advertised? Did you go out in the local community?
no, I didn't go out everywhere, but I did. So I have a TikTok account. I did post on my TikTok.
Hmm.
But also because it was a pilot project, I didn't want to open it up to every single person out there because I don't know people. At the end of the day, I don't know who these people are. They can be coming from serial killer backgrounds. So I wanted to give it to a community where I feel even myself I feel safe. Like, okay, at least I somehow know these people. So what I did
Hmm.
was half of the kids that came were from, remember the organization that I told you sponsored us in high school?
Yeah.
So I reached out to them and I said, oh, as an alumni, can you give me some of the kids? You know, I want to
Hmm.
support the cause and whatever. And they're like, yeah, cool. So they gave me a bunch of kids that came. And then the other half were literally people that just applied from online. I didn't know them. Or maybe my friends, siblings or whatever. But like, yeah, I didn't know those. So those ones came just through the application. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Great. Great. That's another question.
Yeah. So like as you're talking about these things, I was just thinking, is this like the something that you're most proud of, or an achievement you're most proud of, or is there anything other than this?
Wow.
Why did you have to get so serious, Jackson?
No, like her being quiet just means she has a lot of achievements. Doesn't know which one to
Mm,
take.
No. Oh.
true.
Okay. Let me see. That's a very good question. I think to some extent, yes, but also no. Um, I think this thing sort of feels like a string. Like it feels like it's different achievements tied together that led to this. Obviously, I'm very proud because I was able to do this on my own. Like I actually had an initiative and I wrote it down and it worked.
Hmm.
But I think previous experiences helped me to get here. For example, I would say the other December, I had worked with another woman. Her name is Alina Karimamsama. She's a change maker in Zambia. She does great things. Um, I interned with her. You guys obviously know Vika Tivo. I hope you know Vika Tivo. You don't know V? Oh my god!
Well, now we do.
Anyway, V is a Zimbabwean like girl child education activist also. She's very big, like she's literally like famous, like she's from the UK. She went to Oxford, she went to Harvard.
Uh,
Anyway, like, I swear you should look her up. Alina is like literally like that, but Alina is Zambian. So I interned with Alina, and we had this initiative. He was hosting an initiative in Zambia called VentureCon. So for her, it was like a funding thingy also. So like so many young people came, like over 300
Wow.
Zambians came in. They were pitching their ideas, and then she brought like her friends from like different countries, and they were like funding these ideas. So whichever idea they thought was great, they were funding it. So I was working as her PA. I was working as head of logistics. Like it was so stressful. And after that experience, I was like, will I ever be able to do these things on my own? I was
Mhm.
low-key scared, but like she told me, like, bro, you did this, and like you can definitely do it on your own. So after that experience, we did that. It was 3 days. It was amazing. People were able to get funding. People pitched their businesses. We also taught like some classes on entrepreneurship and everything. After that, the following year at Georgetown, I got an award called the Gwendolyn Miko Award for Women's Empowerment. So it was basically just like
Nyanji.
so it was basically just about, oh, you've done all these works like in like women's lives and whatever, and we think you're gonna do more. And so when that came, I was like, maybe I can actually do more. And that's what gave me the confidence to write up the plan for Kukweza, my project, and it worked through. So I think I'm very proud of myself just for trying out stuff. And because honestly, when you apply for things,
Mhm.
the worst thing that could happen is you getting rejected. But like it's not always that bad. Like you just move on. It's really not that deep.
It's not that deep.
It's not always that deep because what can you do? But like if you never actually do apply, you will never know if you would have been rejected or not. So I think I just like to just put things out there. Like at these days I don't overthink stuff. I just send it in. Whatever happens,
Mm.
happens.
So do you have the option of applying to that funding even this year, or is it the once-off thing?
No, I do. I do have the option of applying.
Great.
But
So can we brainstorm together about what we're going to be working on this year?
yes, we should. Guys, bring your ideas on. I was telling Jackson that I was scared of coming because you guys look like nerds. You look so. For me, I have a shallow vocabulary. I'm just a simple girl. I'll just come here and look down. So I was like,
Did you watch any of our stuff before?
I did. I watched the other episode with the girl
Yeah.
from Bingo.
I yeah, I don't think I'm yeah, anyway. Yeah, you're doing great. I think
That's
you
what smart people said. I don't think I'm, but you should know. You know. I feel like all of Jackson's friends, apart from me, are just smart.
No, no, no.
Smart
you,
people.
you need to give yourself some credit. I haven't even done half of what you have done. You're actually impacting people's lives. You
Yeah,
Aww.
us
know,
we're just
you're
talkers. We're just thinking of these things. You've actually done them.
exactly. So I know it's kind of hard to like give yourself credit when you're doing these things, but sometimes when you're doing the kind of stuff that you're doing, right, it's so visible. I think sometimes you should just take a step back, look at what you've actually done. Very few
Mm.
people are doing what you're doing, right? Um, so yeah, great things. This is just a normal flowing conversation.
You make
Yeah.
me cry. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
please. It's better, otherwise, I would have offered you a tissue or something to wipe your tears
you.
off. So I'm wondering, you you seem like such a bubbly and lovely person. How do you enjoy life in Qatar? Like, tell me some of the things that you do to just, it's a
Ooh,
weekend, it's a Friday, you just want to relax, or do you have any friends? Like, how does that work?
that's a very interesting question because Qatar is a very when you're here, you sort of self isolate a lot. Because one, it's a
Hmm.
small country, there aren't many people. Um, most of the time it's hot. Like you literally burn walking
Mm.
starting outside for 5 seconds. It is so you can't even breathe. The air the air is heavy. Like you can't breathe. But
Mhm.
I self-isolate a lot, which is funny because I'm so introverted. And I don't know why I have so much energy when I'm talking to people. I feel like people's energy, I feed off people's energy. So nine
Yeah.
times out of 10, how I act around you is basically just me mirroring your vibe. So it means you guys are good vibes.
Oh, thanks. Mostly
But
Jackson, but thanks.
no, you just gave me a speech about giving yourself credit, and you're literally not doing it. But I think I've changed. Last year, in first year, I was excited. I was going everywhere every day. I was going out to the clubs. Um,
Mm.
I was exploring a lot. But I think now, like, there's a lot to see in Qatar, but like, you probably see everything in like a month. Everything else has started being repetitive. So I do have a close group of friends that are very supportive. Um, my friends are Zambian. I came here and I thought I was the only Zambian because I'm the only Zambian at Georgetown. I'm the first Zambian at Georgetown. But so I was a bit lost when I came. I was scared. I'm like, I don't know anyone. The other people that I knew were my friends from ALA, but they came a year before me. Because remember I took that gap year. So they had bonded up without me. So when I came here, it felt like we had to reintroduce ourselves to each other again for some time. Then I met my Zambian community, and like now in second year, I think I've integrated myself in the community. Like I'm pretty solid. Like yeah, and also Qatar is very safe. It's so safe. Like I can walk around at 3 a.m. to the mall. I'll leave my phone anywhere. It's gonna be found wherever I left it after 3 days. Like it's just the safest country ever, and I just love it. Which I enjoy being a woman in Qatar for sure. Also, you get free stuff everywhere as a woman.
Really?
Um,
Like what?
like at restaurants, there's always like ladies' night every day of the week at different places. Ladies' night, so you go and get free drinks, or you just pay like a small amount of money for like 5 drinks and a meal. And men have to pay.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
good. It's so good. Like imagine if one drink is like 50 reals, because we use reals. If it's ladies' night for women, you would get 3 drinks and maybe even like food in just 50 reals. And a man has to buy one drink in just 50 reals. So like that's how so good it is. And then also another cool thing is like every facility has got a women's only section. So even like the metro, there's a women's only section where only women can be there. If a man is found there, you're in trouble. At the mall, there's like women only prayer rooms. Even at Georgetown, we have a women only section where like girls can just go there, relax. If you want to sleep, you rest. There's food, there's snacks, there's drinks. So it's just so good to be a woman here. Like I'm really living my best life.
But why do you think that's important?
I think it's important because women need to be empowered because women go through a lot of things that men don't go through biologically. Um, I don't know why I feel like you guys are judging me when I say that, but yeah,
No, I'm not. I want to be educated on the topic. It's new to me. I've never heard of such a thing.
yeah, I really feel like in most parts of the world, women feel unsafe by the presence of men, not just because men are just inherently scary people, but because men do scary things.
Okay.
When you look at statistics and you look at all those things, you see that women get harassed in even public spaces like the bus, the
Mm-hmm.
metro, all those things, and I think it's just giving us an opportunity to exist without always having to look above our shoulder, to think, am I safe? All those things, just to feel safe, just to sit and just be like, okay, I'm just going to the mall. I'll come back and I feel good, and I don't have to
Mm-hmm.
panic. I don't have to constantly stare like look suffer all these stares from these men. Yeah, and also because here people cover up, so they're hijabi. So sometimes it could get too hot. So the reason why we have the women's only section in Georgetown is just so that they can go relax. You take off your hijab, you sit. If you're having cramps, periods, or anything, you can go and rest, drink some
Mm-hmm.
painkillers. Because we have beds and we have blankets. It's so cute. It's a cute space. So yeah, I think it's very necessary for women to have such spaces.
That's great. That sounds like a really
Do you guys think we
thoughtful
should
thing.
have men only spaces?
Every
I
space
don't.
is a man's only space.
Period. Period.
we guys are so simple. Any space we can make it our chilling, our space, and then with stuff like that. So
Dominate.
I feel like women do need that. I actually, I'm gonna build an empire in Zambia, so that empire should have some women only section. I think
You should do that.
Hmm.
You should call me to plan it.
for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, that sounds great. It sounds like they're really deliberate about what they do and how they do it, which
Mm.
is so great to see. Half of the stuff we do in Zambia just feels like we're being told what to do or something like that.
Right? It feels like we're not
I'm
in
so
control of our
scared.
lives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we let others,
It will
dictate
give
what we
us
do.
confidence. Please.
Mm. It's like, oh, you want some money? Yeah, cool. Here's the money, but can you do this?
Yeah. Just build 5 roads.
Yeah,
Mr.
it's like
Kennison
what?
wanted to be president, so we can talk to
Really?
him. In fact, we should invite. I think I'll talk to Kennison. We should have him on the podcast.
Kellyson is doing big things also, yeah.
Yeah, I know
Okay.
people do big things, but I'm not doing big things.
That's what you think. See, you think this is not a big thing. You don't know who's gonna watch this and say, I also want to be like Jackson and Nelson. No, I feel like genuinely stories are as you guys like stories are very powerful. And yeah, there's always so much to learn. Like there's always so much to learn and people to inspire. And you guys also thought of this, like how many people out there have said, I'm going to spend my Sunday afternoon to like give people this type of opportunity, because like most times people just want to listen to celebrities or people that are big and that people that everyone know, but then like people that are starting up like us who are just like we're just starting in these things. I think it's very it's even more inspiring because someone else who's literally like second year in uni somewhere else would be like, oh, so I can also do things as young as I am. I thought I had to wait till like I have my pension to be able to start an initiative like Kukweza, but you know, they can do it now, and you guys are doing it now. Period.
Nah, you're doing big things. That speech that you just gave, you fired me up.
I know, right? I'm about to go conquer the world right now.
Yeah. Well, great.
I had a
I had a
question.
yeah. Do you
No,
want
but
me to
you
go
can.
first? Okay, I'll go first. I'm always intrigued at people's routines or people's daily habits. Do you have anything of that sort, like something that you follow religious? No, nothing. So you're a spontaneous guy.
Spontaneity rules the world.
Okay.
Most of
I
the things that are discovered were discovered at the go, not plans.
That's so funny. No, I think that routines bore me. When I get in a cycle, I get bored. So let me tell you the most interesting thing I think lucky about me is as I said, I love education. I hate school. Like as a building, as classes, I hate it. I just feel like there's more ways we could have been learning than being in a classroom. Like it was the dumbest idea that the people in the past thought of.
That's a huge call, but okay.
Okay, yeah, but honestly, if I think about it, even I think I've learned the most outside the classroom. Like,
Mm, that's true though.
yeah.
That's
So
true.
I don't have a routine because routines bore me. I get bored. Everything just becomes monotonous. I think maybe one thing I would say is like a Kamini routine is like reading my Bible. I have it
Mm.
here. I try to like be consistent, but
What's your
still,
consistency?
Yeah. Oh
hey,
God.
we're still trying. But I want that's the only thing I think I want to be consistent in my life, like just my love for Jesus and getting closer to Him. But everything else, I
Mhm.
I wake up
Not
at different times every day.
not even skincare routine, no.
No, I don't even have.
Wow.
I don't have. Do you have a routine? Do you guys have?
Personally, no. I mean, to some extent, yes, but generally, no.
What time do you wake up?
I have to be in at work at 9, so I wake up at 8:30.
That's such a male thing to do.
I'll be ready in half an hour and I'll already be there at 9.
And you are
Wow.
never
10 minutes
late.
This is never late.
every now and then.
How far is your workplace?
It's like 10 minutes away.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So I
Jackson,
mean,
do you
I
have a
make
routine?
it.
Nah, routine. It's a routine. Okay. It's not like a routine, but like I do have like blocks where I'm like gonna do this
Yeah.
ABCD. So if like I have assignments to do, I won't say at 8 hours I'm gonna no, I'll just be like okay, from 10 to like 12, there's nothing to do there. So I'll squeeze in time to do another during that time. But yeah, but one thing I try to do is
Mm-hmm.
get enough sleep. I'm intentional about that. Because I
Oh.
don't know why, but I feel like my brain works best when I'm rested. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't care if I didn't study, I didn't prepare for something. The following day, I'll sleep, and I don't care
Mm-hmm.
about whatever goes on. I need my sleep, and
Even
that
if
I
you
think has helped me. Sorry,
even if you have an exam like the following day.
even if I have an exam, even if I have an exam and I did not study at all, I will sleep in. And guess what? I will do better sleeping early than if
Mhm.
I force myself to
Just
study and cram that night. And then when I wake up the following morning, I'm like, okay, what was I studying? My brain just be like,
yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about, bro. You should have rested to allow me to consume all that information.
Yeah, it's like you just wasted your time.
I
Yeah,
think
so sleep for me is very important.
I think
I
it's also from what you said, Jackson. I think the most important thing for me is knowing yourself, knowing what works for you and what doesn't work for you.
mm,
I've literally seen people cram the entire night and just go and spit it out during an exam. There are people who are like that. They're just good at that. I've also seen like the Jackson type. This person wouldn't study and they wouldn't care in the world. Like the way they would be talking to you, like they studied the entire night. It's just they know themselves, they're confident, they can just easily look at the question, analyze it, and just, think
think out of
like
it.
that. Yeah. Oh, great. Good to know people don't really have, routines.
Routines.
Um, Another thing I wanted to find out from you, right? We kind of touched on like how the Zambian school system doesn't really allow us to, I mean, to some extent, yes, it does allow us to explore our interests, but not really at the same time. Seems
Mm.
like you said, everyone who gets 6, 7 points, like, oh, never doctor, oh, never, never lawyer.
By the way.
What's one skill that you think we should be learning in school as we are growing up that you, from your life's experiences so far, you think is super important? Personally, I can go first for this and just
Yeah.
have everyone kind of pitch in. I feel like, in addition to public speaking, right? Um, I just feel like we need to know how to hold proper conversations. It's not
Mm-hmm.
just about talking, but you should be getting something from most of the people that you talk to, right? You always want to strive for that. And in Zambia, it just seems like all the conversations we're having, it's like, it's just for fun, it's for vibes, but you never really know someone's background, right? So if we're more intentional about how we're having these conversations and going back to the learning how to speak in public, I think we're going to even ask better questions,
Yeah.
and try to find out how people got to where they are. Maybe like we were saying earlier, maybe people don't really talk about how they got to where they are because we're not really asking the correct questions. Because if you just go and ask someone, hey, how did you buy this Porsche? It might seem like they'll tell you I went and I purchased it using money. But maybe if you're more systematic about it, maybe if you explain where you're coming from, say, hey, I've followed what you do. I really like what you do, and I'm a huge fan. Like, can you give me pointers of how you think I can, get to where you are? I feel like there's structure to these things, right? So I feel like public speaking, we need to really improve on that.
I totally agree.
Your
Also,
turn.
because like networking, like no, I'm just gonna add to your point. Like
Yeah.
networking is like an element that stems from that, and like
Hmm.
I think networks have been the things that have gotten me opportunities that I didn't know I would get. Because like so many things, you see applications online, but people get those jobs because they probably know someone from there. And sometimes it's not even like corruption or anything. It's just like you sold yourself to like the person who's in charge of that program, and they're like, "Oh, I actually remember that I talked to Nelly or Justin about this, and they sold themselves really well, and that they would be
Yeah,
perfect for this role." So I agree. I agree. That's a good trait.
totally. Networking as well. I also pick off what you just said. Uh, being deliberate in what spaces you're being found in. It's super important.
Mm,
I think there was a Twitter thingy that was going on the other day, and it was about like some of the spaces that you can find yourself in
mm,
Zambia that could be advantageous for you. And there were like a few ideas that were brought up. Like if you see any conference going on, just try to find out what's going on. Like golf places, you really find people who are like doing well and just trying to relax in those places. So being strategic about where you're being found.
niggas. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think critical thinking or just like analysis in general is not something that is encouraged by our curriculum because you don't have to critically think. Just master the past paper.
I swear
Mm.
to God.
What's funny is Kutema brought this up as well.
I know. She said it in the other episode.
That's so nice. I'm glad that we're seeing it. And also I wanna be the Minister of Education. 2020, when are the next elections? I hope
2026.
I'll be the Minister of Education one day. So I'll leave this here so that I'll come and screen record this and I say, "Oh my gosh, guys, I said this on this podcast." But
You
yeah,
heard it
I
Speak it
here
into
first.
existence. This is where things happen. Speak them
Yeah.
into existence.
period. But yeah,
Mm.
I think that if we used to be taught to think critically, we would have also been thinking critically about how to solve Zambia's problems. And um, I always say that our education system is not for the 21st century. Like, we are not thinking of the 21st
Yeah.
century Zambian. We are thinking of the 1964 Zambian that just needed to get the basic skills of reading and writing and being able to be submissive to their colonizers or employers. Like, right now, we need a revolutionary Zambian. Someone who's going to think big and change the world. But,
Yes,
like,
sir.
like we don't have the change maker option, character building component in the education system. And it's so like what pisses me off is that we spend so much time at school. Like you spend over half of your life at school. Even when you're home, you're thinking about school and writing homework. At least those things should be things that are actually impacting you and actually making you a better person. But like the system doesn't train you to be a valuable member of the community because like obviously like African or Zambian culture has a lot to do with community. Your community is what um raises you, your community is what makes you who you are. And so if you're growing up thinking I need to create a change in my community, I need to have positive impact here, how can I make it better, how can I clean the drainage and make sure that
Mhm.
when there's rain next time it won't be clogging, how can I just small things and you'll be able to make I will be able to make our thingy better. So I think critical thinking for me is like a big thing.
Wow, that's so powerful, and it's
Yeah.
so applicable in so many different settings.
Hmm.
Like you said, even just how many times have we had cholera the past 3 years? Almost every year. It's now almost becoming like a routine. Like, okay, this is January. When are we having it? Can we have it now so that we get through it? It's like
How's unfortunate.
how unfortunate. It's such an easy thing to really. I mean, I'm glad that the current government has, I think, seen that and they're now being more deliberate about how they're handling things. But I think it's a collective effort. It shouldn't be left in the hands of only those in power. And
Yeah.
like you said, the communities should stick together. It shouldn't just be the headman to think of ideas or be the creative force. It should be everyone coming together and say, I think we should close this drainage and dig another drainage over there because water flows that way and this has been flowing this way. And like I said at the beginning, in Zambia, everything that we do kind of feels like we're just following. Like these things have already been set up, and we're just like, oh, that's just how it's supposed to be, you know. But yeah, that's great. Let's hear what Jackson has to say.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking and taking in everything you guys are saying. Very, very. Nice, nice takes on things. The critical thinking is something that is important for sure. But I was just thinking, uh, in the next few years, Ned is going to be a minister, so we're going to see some
Mhm.
changes. But for now, like,
Hopefully we see changes.
we will see change. With Ned in power, we will see change.
Yeah.
But I wanted us to, like, right now, if we can we think
Mhm.
of things that we, the current youths right now, can do at the moment to help
Mm,
drive that change that we're talking about? Because there are so many of us, so many of us that have had the opportunity to explore other cultures, right?
mm-hmm.
We've traveled abroad and we've gone and we've seen the world out there. And unfortunately, many of us decide to stay wherever we are experiencing whatever comes in.
Yes.
And we do not come back to, improve Zambia. So what are some of the things we can do in this moment to help drive the change that we're talking about?
Mm,
I think for me, for starters, even just talking about it.
Exactly. The first step is having this platform where people
yeah.
can
Yeah.
actually talk about these things and others can get to learn about them.
Mm,
Talking about these things that people are aware about them,
I
and
agree.
then Nelly will come up with a solution. Yes, Minister Nelly.
Wow. Yeah. Hey.
I'm preparing you. This is how it will be like in Parliament.
They'll be firing me with questions. Okay. I think as a leader, one thing I would say you would have to unlearn or learn. I don't know. It depends how you see it. Probably is how you define success or how you define impact. I think
Mhm.
before I started actually working, I used to, because how did I even get the award? Like the award I mentioned earlier. So in the
Mhm.
beginning, I obviously didn't have funds, I didn't have money. After ALA, actually, wow, at ALA, my friends and I had taken over some student enterprise. We had things called student enterprises, and you had to like obviously find a solution to a problem, blah 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 blah. That's what ALA is about. It just wires you to find solutions for Africa and start working on them while you're in school. So we created this thing called QE6, which basically says sex curriculum. So that's where my interest for all this comes from. And so immediately we started it, the pandemic started. And like initially we were supposed to be going in the communities in South Africa to speak to kids from rural areas, what. So now we had to rethink our idea and we started meeting girls online. From Girls Online, I graduated and I said, oh, I don't have money, but I still want to do it. And I went to my former schools, my primary school, my high school, and I just went to speak to people free of charge. And I said, hey, I talked to the headmasters. I said I want to talk to kids in one class. I spoke to them. It was great. And so all that was me building my resume to be able to apply for funding later on in life, and then they'll be like, oh, we've actually seen you do stuff, so you're really are
Yeah.
passionate about it. So my point was change how you view success and don't think of it as it has to be grand, it has to be big. For you to think that you've created change, you have to have a conference that has 5,000 people. I had 25 kids. Like in the first few times, I probably just had like 10 people. We probably just had like 15, but we measured our success based on impact and not on number. So if you're able to have people come back and say, oh, that class that we had with you changed my life. I see the world differently now. I've been able to do ABCD. Even if it's just one person, you've created change. So as Jackson said, like you can create change even right now, even just by speaking to people. Because that's all I do. I just speak to people also. Like I don't do anything extraordinary. I don't give them money. I don't do anything. So yeah, don't think of it as a big thing. Like you can start now. You can create a club in your community. You can say every Saturday we'll be having meetings under that tree, and kids come and you talk about things that piss you off in the community and how you can change them. Like literally that's all, and you've already built a resume
Yeah.
for yourself.
I think Jackson, more to your point, to me, and more to Nelly's point, to me, it sounds more like half of our problems just need us to be practical and
Mm,
stop just, you know, sitting around and doing nothing. And again, from what Nelly has said, we need to kind of revamp clubs and societies, if that
mm,
makes sense. I'll give you an example. growing up, being a Boy Scout was a big thing, and Boy Scout, I think Red Cross, I'm pretty sure there were others. Part of those clubs is social commitment is they get to do some of these seemingly simple small things, but can be big. Again, like Nelly said, maybe even just cleaning up some drainages, or them just having that sense of community where the leaders are talking to them about certain issues, where they get to learn, not in a school setting, but with just their peers who they share common interests with. So imagine if there's like a club in Osaka or a group of young men who just every weekend they just pick to say, okay, this weekend we are cleaning Lumumba drainages. They go there, they pick the stuff. After that, they have a meal. They share what other problems they think they should be solving. So I think we can be more practical in that sense. I know that sounds easy and it's probably difficult to do, but we have to start doing it because those are things that I have seen from my experiences. People here do a lot. Like you come to a company and they're always telling you about volunteering and how that's like so pivotal for them and how important that is, right? It's like, oh, this year they already plan, this year we are going to give so much to this community and this is how we're going to raise it. So they're always practical with what they do. They plan things and they're intentional about how they do things. And that can look different in different settings. So in a Zambian context, I think we need to start from where we are, let's go clean the markets, and this can also be done by companies. It just doesn't have to be individuals.
Especially companies, because they're the ones that even cause the most pollution and
Yeah.
all these things. Yeah.
I think it
We
should be a
won't call out
policy or
companies.
something.
Right?
Yeah, but company that's selling. Oh, come on,
I'm
man.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
A company
I'm
that's
pushing for
selling water
wins all
bottles
the time.
should have some sort of, I don't know, monthly retreat where they go around picking up litter or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Mr. Simon Walen does this where he's like championing for people to pick up litter, just be hygienic and stuff like that, and that should be commended. I know he gets a lot of stick for what he does, but I see the sense in what he does.
No, but I just don't like that he likes to put people on the camera without their permission.
I
Me, I'm
was
so mad.
I was commending him for telling people to be hygienic, not for.
But okay, yes.
Yeah,
I
I
see.
hear what you're saying.
I also hear you.
I hear you.
I think for me also another addition to like what you said, now that you said companies, I think it's very important to understand that the government does have a role to play. Because if you think about marginalized communities, they're the way they are because they're probably underfunded, and all those things, those systemic issues that the government literally has the mandate or the responsibility to fix. And so I think one thing that also makes me interested in politics right now is because I feel like we've always viewed politics as an old people thing, and we
Mm,
wait till like was 55, but then we forget that like right now we're not participating. We
yeah.
one day will be the adults that have to be in power. What are we going to do? We don't know anything. So I think if we could start now and like be able to be like push the government and say, look, this thing is supposed to be done by you guys, come and fix it. Or people always say at in what do you call those things, constituencies, there's always youth funding. Me, I've never seen anyone come tell me about.
I know.
CDF.
Oh man, I don't even know who my counselor is, but like it's good to like push for such things. We know information is hidden, as we've already said, but like try to find it. If other people find, I don't know, even you just try to push and say, go to their offices and say, look, I have this plan, I have this idea. How can the government help me? Hopefully right now there isn't any corruption, like I think we're fighting against that. We're trying, we're doing a good job. So you never know like who you speak to. Maybe your counselor is like, cool, like we can work on this, let's partner. So try to involve yourself in politics, because at the end of the day, you people are the democracy and the politicians. You're the ones in charge of your whatever. So you have to tell the government what you want, even as a young person.
It's funny because that just reminded me of the definition of democracy that I knew as a kid. The rule of the people, by the people, for the
By the
people,
people, for the people.
And stemming from what you said, right? The people who are making these decisions now about our future probably won't even be in our future. Like 20 years from now,
Yeah,
they'll be gone.
it will be
So
us.
we need to be, like you said, start involving ourselves and not just think of politics as an old people's game or something like that. And talking about the opportunities that probably do exist in our constituencies, you just have to start. Like, we also need to start holding our leaders accountable. Here in the US, if they know they're called counties here, if they know their county has certain monies, they'll be pestering the person in charge, like, how did this money go? Like, how did you distribute it? Where did it go? What projects did you start with it? In Zambia, we're sort of like, oh, there's CDF. If I today chula, like, bruh, think of something. You can even just think of, okay, I want to start selling fritters at the corner, and I'll be making X amount of money. I just need a loan from the constituency. Just give me 1,000 for starters. I'll pay it back in a year, and I'll have capital from that. But I feel like sometimes in Zambia, we always want to have the big success. We don't really want those small successes because, I mean, it's not our fault. Most of the people that we see have made it really big. So naturally, we also just want to shoot for the stars, right? But like you said, baby steps. Yeah. All right. Wow, Jackson, that was such a great question. You just took a whole different turn and how you were looking at it. And I'm pretty sure there's more to this apple than we've actually beaten, right? There's so many layers to it. I'm not sure if maybe Nelly has another layer that she wants to peel off.
No, I don't think.
No. Yeah, anything that you would like to contribute on the political scene, economic scene in our country. Maybe let me ask you this. What's something in the Zambian culture that has been normalized, do you think we need to rethink?
This is just in general.
In general. Because we have said our culture is so conservative, right? And that comes with its own pros and cons.
Yeah.
Do you want me to start?
I think you can start, and then I'll probably think while you're speaking.
Yeah, and Jackson will agree with me on this. When we first come to the US, one of the things we are taught by our organization is being humble doesn't mean you need to keep quiet. You have to speak up. There's a saying that says closed mouths don't get fed. If you want something, you have to speak up. And mostly in Zambia, because we're so conservative, we always perceive the quiet ones as the intelligent ones, which doesn't always seem to be the case. So I think that has been normalized for so long that we think it's okay, but you can be intelligent and still ask questions and still speak up, So I think that's one thing that we can look into.
Yeah. Here, actually, people that get the opportunities are the people that speak up. You think you're going to get an opportunity if you're being quiet and humble. Was that so bad? Okay. Most of the opportunities that come here and people visit, they are those that are quiet, right? So, but sometimes the Mumba I was like, hello, me, I'll just be looking and they'll notice me. What?
They won't.
What?
But they would rather pick somebody, like even in an interview setting, right? They would rather pick somebody that doesn't have as many grades, as good of grades as you, but they can speak. They can speak their mind. They can talk to people. They can hold conversations. They would rather have that person in the company than somebody who's been getting all A's. So speak up, bro.
Speak up. If you want something, go for it. Half of the internships that I've gotten was just me going to my professors and saying, "Hey, what do you have for me?" And then you explain your situation. Like, okay, I'm coming
Mm,
from this. I like this. These are my interests. Do you know
mhm.
of anything? And I don't know if it's just people here, but they do share. Like, oh, okay. I know a friend who knows a friend who also knows a
Yeah.
Yeah,
friend. So
that's
they link
actually
you up.
another thing that I think we should change in Zambia. We are sort of always competing and forgetting that you can succeed as a group. You don't
Yes.
have to like succeed just on your own and hide opportunities from your friends. No,
Mhm.
you won't get every opportunity on earth. Just share this.
Okay, relax, relax. It sounds personal.
I
No,
agree. No.
but it gets them. I'm like, they're hiding. Like, bro,
Yeah,
how did you do this? And somebody's beating about the bush. They're like,
Yeah, just work
they don't
hard.
want to tell you like,
Hard.
what do you mean work hard? I'm working hard.
just tell me how to get to point B.
Good. No, that's so true.
Yeah,
That's actually really true. I think in high school, we were sort of the I don't know. I feel like that's why I'm kind of relating because I feel like in high school people struggled to relate intelligence with like our group because we're obviously like the noisy ones. We're always like
yeah,
everywhere where the kids are active. We're not like the quiet, always on their books type of students, but like we were still able to pass. And people would always be like, "How is this possible?" So now it makes
yeah.
sense. Like
Eh,
how
sweetie, happened?
Mwanzi, high school so start.
Oh,
Adama ati mukambostadi na nzeru zienda kuri net.
I think ngakomera kuderisizero.
Zingine. Yeah, no,
I
I just feel
can't.
like there's a misconception. There's a misconception.
Mm.
So not to be intelligent, you need to be quiet. I mean, there are those people who are like that, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't always to be like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's not the determining factor
Nope.
of intelligence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to speak up, honestly. Zambians were too quiet and too humble for nothing. Opportunities will be passing us just like that. That's why people are
Yeah.
ruling us. Like you say, that's why people like we just listen to
Yeah.
whatever people are saying.
We
Hmm.
don't know how to negotiate. We don't know how to say what we're
If
thinking.
people notice me, bah, hey,
Yeah.
people who talk will be
Even
getting the opportunity. Okay.
even just even just the conversation that you brought about on negotiating, right? And
Mm.
I was a victim of this when I came to the US, and I think someone was telling me about how they got the job offer and they were about to start negotiating their salary. I was like, wait, what? You could do that?
What do you
You
mean?
know, what do you mean? It's like they tell you how
After
much
just
you make.
know they'll give you the salary and you just accept it. Don't say nothing, otherwise you lose the job.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
lose the job.
But because yeah, people believe in knowing your worth, right? You can be like, no,
Mm.
hold up, no, because of my qualifications and my experiences, I feel like I deserve more. And companies also understand that. So normally they give a range, So
Mm.
during your negotiations, you actually get to make your own salary.
That's so
Yeah, and
cool.
actually, one thing that people do not know, uh, one policy was like a written rule about these companies. They always try to get the most for less for the least. So
Yeah.
the salary they
Mm.
actually give you is the least they can give you. They have something that they can give you above. So if you do not negotiate and speak, they win because they just gave you
Yeah,
something that they were gonna give you anyway. So
Yeah.
that's so cool. I don't think I really knew that. I'll
Well,
try to use it. And then if I lose my job after negotiating, I'm going back to you guys. Find a new job. But that says sorry. We'll go to the next available candidate.
like
it's the way we
there's
negotiate too.
it's the way you negotiate, it's the way you ask your recruiter, right? Like, oh,
Mhm.
is this salary negotiable? And there are jobs that are like salaries are not negotiable. They'll be like, no,
Yeah,
it's not. So it's up to
it's
you.
like
Mm.
program
Is this
like
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying there are those which are like rigid.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's certain programs like the one that I'm in. It's a program for everybody everybody who's gonna come through that program is getting that
Mm-hmm.
salary. There's no negotiation. But then
Mm-hmm.
there are other jobs that are not like program based. Those ones you can
Mm-hmm.
negotiate. You can either
Okay.
negotiate the it might not be like the salary, but the bonus you can negotiate that. If you're moving
Okay.
from one state to the other, you can negotiate to say, hey guys, you're giving me so much. It's gonna cost me so much to move from this state to move my things and stuff like that to settle
Mhm.
there. So can you increase that a little bit? They can increase that, or they can pay for whatever the transportation of the equipment that you have. So yeah, just know what to say, when to say it, and do your due diligence as well. Do some research so that
Mm-hmm.
you can negotiate with facts. Don't just say, that's it, bye. Take it on board. Don't be like, why?
Yeah, but
Okay.
actually bringing this to a home setting, right, before it sounds too far-fetched. One of the things that pisses me off is how, how in Zambia, like, jobs have like a salary range, but
Mm-hmm.
they that salary range mostly does not really cater for what qualifications you have. So what I mean by that is things will be going up in Zambia. The dollar will be going up, inflation will be going up, the prices will be going up.
Yes.
But if you're employed, they just want to keep that salary. I'm like,
The same
no, this
thing.
salary was made in 2008 when,
Exactly.
dollar was at, I don't know, 14 kwacha or 8 kwacha.
Mm.
Now it's at 25. You need to adjust your salary skills, which is
Yeah.
something I appreciate about how the US does their things. It's like every year, your salary gets adjusted to move with inflation.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah. So
it,
I know you hated the US, but if you wanna,
I'm making my decision.
And I say this because you're about to be Minister of Education, and these are some of the policies that you should be suggesting, right? It's like we can't
Mm-hmm.
expect our people to survive on a salary that they were surviving on like 10 years ago.
Years ago.
It's inhumane, You you literally are, telling them to say we don't have enough to pay you, and then how do you think they'll be motivated to even be productive at their works?
Mm-hmm. Speaking
That's
of
why we end up with,
productivity, oh
uh-huh,
no,
go on.
finish your sentence first.
That's why we end up having like frustrated people working. You go in an office, this person is just frustrated. Like,
I was
I didn't
just
do
about
anything to
to
you.
say
No, I'm so glad you said that. Oh my god. No.
You
that.
just go in, mufuna chan nayo.
Eh, mama, ngime, ngashifuna ukubona kwentinang. Oh my
Mm.
uh,
people are so frustrated. It's so sad. Like it's actually not funny. It's so sad.
It's not.
And
I honestly understand them. That's why I'm bringing this up. Because there's no way you can be getting a 3,000 in this Zambian economy. And
1,800.
you have, I don't know,
that was
five dependents.
Ah,
But yeah,
no.
Boma Ilanganepo.
How boom and
But then again, the other caveat to this conversation is we as Zambians need to also be more innovative and not rely too much on our salaries or on the government. Because things are this bad, there isn't really that much hope that the government can do anything about it. So you need to think outside the box. Now you can be an entrepreneur if you are a civil servant. You don't have to only have one job. You can go to these banking banks and don't only get loans to buy a car or to buy liabilities. Start thinking outside the box. The normal is, oh, you get a loan, you're either buying a car or a plot. Bruh, think outside the
and then it
box.
just sits there. It's not
Exactly.
making money for
yeah.
you.
I know it's risky, but think of a business.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what will happen.
But I think it's a
And
cycle
also
again.
the definition of business as well. People usually think when we say start a business, they're thinking of large scale businesses. Victim
CEO.
Boas is a business.
Yeah.
It is.
At least it.
Panera is a business. We're
Yeah.
not saying
Yes.
that on the next big shop in town center. No.
Mhm.
Mm, I definitely think that it's a cycle. Obviously, like from like literally when we're kids, we just see adults as people that have a job and have a 9 to 5, and so we think that's what it is. And when you get a car, even if it's on a
Mhm.
loan that you don't know how you pay back, you're
Yeah.
literally just doing the damn thing. But I was going to say that like you guys have worked in Zambia and in the US now. So like if you look at the work environment, like that's like how your bosses are able to motivate you to work better. As you said, like when you said productivity, I was just like, yes, like people need to be happy to be productive. Like what would you say are the differences between the Zambian workspace and the US right now? Like what are things that you've experienced that like literally were just like wow.
Literally
What?
everything.
I swear.
Go ahead, Jackson.
Yeah, one of the things that Nelson said, I think the salary issues. The bosses here are
Mm,
paid good, so they are motivated to even motivate us to go to
mm,
come for work. Back home, the boss is getting buses, and you expect him
that's
to
why you
start motivating you. So they are not motivated. Yeah. So here, I think they are paid good. So
mm,
that out of the way, they get good money. But I
mm-hmm,
think uh, mm, mm, like here, when people no longer like the job, they leave.
mm-hmm.
Back home, they
Okay.
don't have an option. Because if you
Yeah.
leave, uzaenda wote.
That's good. Most
Uzaenda wote. So
people.
here, there's opportunity. So I think the more jobs you have in a place, the more freedom people would have to,
Mm,
leave whenever they feel like they no longer like the job. Yeah, because
yeah.
if you don't like it and you stay, that's the frustration now. People come in
Mm,
and you're already angry, you're upset, you don't even want to attend to people. So that is
yeah.
another thing. Here, there are more opportunities, so people can leave at any time. Uh, one other thing as well is because people can leave at any time, they tend to do jobs that they love. And so when the boss comes for work, they love like what they're doing, and you working for them, you love what you like. They'll motivate you to do what you
Mm,
love. So if you
yeah.
love the job, you wake up wanting to be there. So
Yeah. I
yeah,
agree.
these are just some of the things that come off the top of my head, and I know there are a lot because every time I go to the workplace, I see them. But yeah,
Yeah.
Nelson, you can tell me because you're currently in the industry.
Yeah, I think you are spot on with your assessment, right? And I don't think they're paid well. They're paid accordingly. Like I said, that salary
Mm,
scale, it's like it allows you. So it even depends from state to state. You can be doing the exact same job in one state with someone who is in a different state, but you'll be paid differently according to the standard of living in those two
In
different
that
states.
area,
that's
yeah.
Yeah. So another thing that I think really helps is there is structure to jobs here, but
mm-hmm,
at the same time, there's no structure.
mm-hmm.
What I mean by that is you have freedom, you have creativity, you have that you have that feeling where if you know you have a better idea of how things can be done, you can easily go to your boss and like, why do we do this like this?
Mm-hmm.
I had an idea and they will hear you out. Another thing that helps is their yearly reviews. Your job
Mm,
will review your how you were performing that year, performance based kind of bonuses as well and promotions. So you always want to work hard because you always want to move up the ladder, right?
mm-hmm.
But in Zambia, once you're in a job, once you're a teacher, you're a teacher. It ends there,
There's an opportunity for
you know.
growth.
Exactly. So I feel like that opportunity for growth also keeps people on their toes. They always want to work hard and stuff like that. And also the benefits that come with these jobs. Healthcare
Yeah.
in the US is a big thing. So you get healthcare. Um, some of other benefits I get is I get a metro card or a bus card.
Mm.
and it's like heavily subsidized. I think you pay like, if you're paying it by yourself, it's like $200 a month. The
Mhm.
the company only charges you $5, which is
Oh
ridiculous.
wow.
If you want to go to a massage, they'll pay for 75% of that.
Oh, period.
Mental health like awareness stuff, they
Oh,
cover that,
mental health.
so it's like they actually care about you and these things that impact you on a day to day. If you don't like the chair that you're sitting in, they'll change the chair for you.
Yes.
Uh, they offer you a laptop when you're working, good Wi-Fi. You don't have to go to work with, you know. It's
Yeah.
just these small little things that we take for granted in Zambia that actually do matter, you
Yeah.
know. And they're just more of like Jackson said again, people do what they love. So
Mm.
when you do what you love, you don't it. I know it sounds cliche, but it doesn't really feel like you're even working at all,
Mm.
you know. So I feel like those are some of the key things that we can improve on in Zambia.
I agree. I think also, honestly, I haven't really worked in Zambia. I worked
Hmm.
with one company. That was my biggest nightmare in the whole entire world. Hi. If I could visit them, I would have studied and tell people never to go there. But like, that's another. And like I just said, it's not something I even loved. Like I just had to do it out of necessity. But like, and then here, I haven't really had a real job. I'm just like, I just have a campus job. So, but it's
Yeah.
pretty serious. Like it's very serious. And I think I've seen some of the things that you guys are saying. I feel like I'm a human being. Like they know me by name. With the other company, it was like I
Hmm.
was just a chicken. I wasn't. No one cared.
It's like a ring.
Carrie, it's not nice. Oh my god. First of all, they don't respect your time. Let's
Okay.
say work is starting at 8. Why do you want me to be there at 7:20? Like, oh, you need to clean the store, you need to do very unnecessary things that were not written in your responsibility, what on your
Yeah.
contract, but then they're piling them up on you, but you're not increasing my salary. Are you mad?
Hmm.
So like
Hmm.
you're knocking off 2 hours after the time you're supposed to knock off. You're coming in an hour early. Such unnecessary things. Here, like obviously, like personally, I get paid by the hour, so like my time is so important. Like that,
Yeah.
and as I said, it's very flexible. Even if like I don't need to be at work at a specific time. For me, it's different, obviously, because I'm a student. As long as I've worked my hours, then I can work them at any time. So I really enjoy that about it. And also just literally, I'm the youngest person ever in my department. I work with my bosses, and they care what I have to say. They'll ask me what I think about even the smallest things like a PowerPoint presentation. Should we leave this
Yeah.
here? Should we change the color to white? What do you think? It just makes you feel included, and I don't
For
know about
sure.
the other better companies in Zambia. Maybe they have better like treatment. Otherwise, where I work,
Bruh, these companies, you go at 12, tiripa lunch. Mboyenga ntawina. What do you mean mlipa lunch?
no, people are not happy.
Do you actually
Listen and
think
say,
we should adopt the hourly rate system in
I
Zambia?
I think so. I
I
think
think
so.
we
Because
should.
here, if you go above, even if you've gone above 30 minutes and you log that, you get paid overtime for that 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like
And
that will force
overtime is higher
companies
than
now.
maintenance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That will force companies to now like start paying more attention because as it is currently,
So I think it's
they'll
a
overwork
policy
you.
problem.
It's also kind of companies just taking advantage of people. Like she said,
Mm,
the contract says you should be here at 8. They want you at 7. It says it should be done by 4 p.m. They want you to be there until 7. And
mm.
if you complain, you don't really have any other, place where you can go. So you're just kind of stuck in that, and you're being, for lack of a better term,
And they
abused
remind
in that job.
yeah.
But it's also a you thing. It's like speak up, but then you really can't speak
You
up.
can't. Yeah.
Well, that won't be Shawai. Do you know how many people are angry that want that job?
Ah, I saw it. Yeah, exactly. On that, I saw like Is it at some of these Chinese companies, home choice, like right outside the door, there are people like probably
Waiting.
over 15 just waiting to be employed. So you really cannot misbehave.
That's sad.
And that's sad, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I just hope my visions come true quick so that I can employ these people.
Yeah, and then give them better conditions at work. And also,
And
people
yeah,
don't know about
show the
the work.
companies.
you know,
We don't teach people. These are things I think in grade 12, they should just dedicate grade 12 to knowing about workers' rights, know how to drive, know how to all these things. So because you're not going to society, you need to know how to create a business plan, you need to know how to pitch ideas. Those are things we should be learning in grade 12 term 3. Because why am I learning about, I'm sorry, but why am I learning about physics?
okay, come on. Come on. No, I'll come to physics' defense here.
No, no, yeah.
You need to know your physics.
But I get your point. I get your point, actually.
Mm,
The last
We do
year
need to
of
streamline things.
yeah.
And I'm happy to say, I think the government has revised the school curriculum. I was going through like the new curriculum. It looks good. It looks more
Yeah, I
intentional.
thought that look good.
Yeah. So now you just won't be learning about what happened in, I mean, even though what happened in 1914 is important, but come on. I'd rather learn about
David
like
Livingstone met Stanley at Ujiji. What the heck?
at Dr. Livingston, I presume? Like, why?
Met Stanley at Ujiji.
I mean, I would I would rather be learning
Oh my
about how,
god. I find the
you know,
Zambian history curriculum so problematic. Like I think that's what made
I
me
hate it.
get
for some
partial
reason I love it. For some
education.
reason I love it.
I
Not like
hate
the way
it.
I love Zambian history, right? But the
Yes.
one in the curriculum,
It's not
David Livingstone met Stanley at Ujiji.
It's actually Henry Morton Stanley at Ujiji. And who are the two boys who carried David Livingstone? They were Zambians. They carried the... Oh, God.
no way. No, because I think what made me hate his history. I think it was great. Was it grade 10? And the first thing they were talking about was John Cecil Rhodes and how
Yeah.
he was going to take over. I said, there's no way you're telling me my history starts here. Like, the first thing I'm
Oh,
going to
yeah.
learn about is that I was taken over by this random nigga that came from I don't know where. Like, how am I supposed to even have pride in my identity as a person? Now I'm just thinking, oh, someone can just come and take over my land and take over everything. I think that plays on our heads and how we
Exactly.
yeah.
They
Did you
colonize
ever
us.
stop and look at the... Did you ever stop and look at the authors? They probably weren't even Zambian.
Oh yeah, they're not Zambian.
Yeah, they're not
Exactly.
Zambian.
So that's,
The only Zambian
again,
dude, we actually look down on the Zambian authors.
Antoro. Was it Antoro?
Like, this tells us something, dude.
Yeah.
Yo, the internal colonization is so deep. It's so bad. No, because that's true. We don't read the Zambian authors. Makambatia, kama edition ya mandani yo.
Mhm.
Wazungu ndiye
No, that's
waziwa.
true.
Wazungunje wazi- It's
That's
not
true.
nice. It's a bad
It's their perspective, but this thing, guys, let's become leaders, I swear, because there's so much we gotta change.
a lot.
But I think it starts from having these conversations, right? I think I'm happy with the progress that we've made, but there's still room for more progress. I think I remember in my grade 12 I was reading books, what were they called? Progress in. I think those were written by Zambian. I'm not sure, but I think those are Zambian authors.
I think there's some Zambians.
Progress
Yeah.
in biology, progress in math. Like that's progress. So yeah, we really need to revise our history, take a few things out, add a few things in. We need to know our history. You know.
Because there's so many things that I've learned while here. Like even from LA, I learned the most about Zambia from outsiders. Like when I went to LA, I didn't know that like Kaunda was such a big part of South African history because like
Yes.
he hid when Mandela in Zambia, and those guys would have probably never even survived if they didn't stay in Zambia for that long. where I never.
Actually, is a house in Zambia where he hid them. It's a
Wow,
historic site.
I didn't know. I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, our school
And I'm,
doesn't teach us such.
yeah. And I came here
There's
also. I've been learning a lot about women empowerment. There's this woman called Mama Lenshina. I'm learning about
Mhm.
like all these great things that she was doing, revolting against the colonizers. And I'm just like,
We
where?
are
Which?
told to we're told to look down on them. Like what they did was like, ew, she did that. Like, bruh, that's your people. She was
we're
fighting
Yeah,
supposed
for
to be
you.
celebrating them.
yeah. We should do better, definitely. But
There's
like the emphasis is on the foreigners, David Livingstone. And how is
Ujiji.
that Zambia? Yeah,
Guys,
part of
you guys
Zambia.
don't understand how much I hate that.
okay, you have
And
a
it would
personal
always
hate for
come on
Gigi.
the exam.
Now Muswata Ujiji. At where were you? I was at the Victoria Falls. Like
Oh
really.
my god.
But
Okay.
I wanted to say there's a TikTok channel that really has been promoting Zambian history and
Elders and
packaging.
DC.
Is that what it's called?
Yes, it's this guy, right? He just started doing and he's going to different. Is it the one? He's going to different provinces and he's looking at like historical sites.
Uh maybe that's another new. I haven't been on
Oh,
TikTok in a
okay.
minute,
Maybe it's
but
another one.
the guy that I was talking about, his name is Hoster, the
Oh,
Hoster,
okay.
Zone Farm's former manager. But yeah, I learned so much from him and how he just packages the history and stuff like that.
That's
And
good. I'll
that's
look
that's
it up.
another that's another case of how social media can be used productively, right? Instead of
Mm-hmm.
just following Zambian gossip, you can actually follow these people and like learn about your history. Because in
Mm-hmm.
as much as we don't give it so much props, you really need to know where you're coming from for you to
Mhm.
learn the lessons that you know in the past so that you don't repeat
Yeah,
them.
yeah. And one thing that's I've also learned here in Qatar also they take care of their museums. They take care of their history and their culture. Like Qatar museums have a huge component of their economy. And
Yeah.
like museums are not like families from Qatar go to museums almost every weekend. They invest in it. It's something that's very big here, preserving their culture and everything. Which is funny because like the majority of people here are not Qatari. Like I think there's
Mm,
just a small portion of them, but they've managed to preserve their culture in a way that when you just come, you be
yeah.
like, okay, there's certain things I can't do, there's certain things I can do. You respect what you find. You don't just like take over and just say, oh, like whatever. In Zambia, I went to the museum last. Okay, let me maybe we're over bashing Zambia, but I went to the museum last holiday.
No, it's
There's
not
so
about bashing it, right? It's saying something about it so that
Reality.
something can change.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, like there's so much work that could be done. In this summer, I hope to do like research on like the role that, for example, women played
The
in the struggle
liberation.
for freedom and all that. Like when you go to the museum,
Yeah.
there's literally just like one tiny wall that has one paragraph that talks about women, and then everything else about men. And then even now, like all the stadiums, Machani, airports, it's one man after the other. And like women are not really like recognized and celebrated. And like I know they did a lot. So stuff like that, like just being inclusive in our history and not leaving out certain parts. And yeah.
Wait, wait. I think from now on, Jackson's new name is Ujiji, but we have to move
Uh,
on. Just to quickly, not really quickly. I'm having so much fun with this conversation, but I have a question that I've been dying to ask, which is I think so personal for me.
Mm.
You at the beginning said you kind of live isolated, and I felt that because I also to some extent feel like that. How do you handle the mental health aspect of being in a different country, being so far
Mm,
away from home? I don't know how often you go back home.
quite
How
often.
do you handle that part?
I think that mental health in itself has been something I've had to deal with, especially away from home, where obviously back home it's not a thing. Like I never used to know how to handle my emotions. I never used to know that I could feel certain things, and like not everything is normal. Like not everything is just like something I have to deal with on my own. When I went to ALA, actually, let me tell you this quick story of how I realized that it's okay to see a therapist. So when I went to ALA, before ALA, I used to be the smart girl, A student, all this. I went to ALA and I took A level mathematics. And so they told us that the results that you get are obviously important because you use them to apply to uni. I took this simple calculus exam and I got a D. I saw my grade. I was in class. I couldn't breathe. I don't know what that was. Breathe. I was like, I'm not going to an Ivy school anymore. Oh my God, I failed. And that, but that's how my anxiety started. That's how everything else started building up. And even things that had happened in the past, that was like my first outlet of like all the mental health issues that I had been having in the past, and now I started realizing how failure was so important to me because of my background. I'm like, damn, if I fail, I'm failing all these people. If I fail, this and
Yeah.
this is going to happen. I've never failed before. What does this mean to me? And then I started low key, just like that's when my isolation started. I started spending a lot of time alone, but not in a good way, not in a healthy way. Like now, it was bad.
Mhm.
And then because I feel like schools abroad pay attention to their students, my teachers are the ones that actually recommended because we have therapists on site. I don't think we have therapists in Zambian schools. So
We don't.
my teachers and friends. So in school, you can either book your own appointment, or if you're worried about someone, you obviously like send in whatever, and then the therapist to approach that person. So I think two or three of my friends wrote to the therapist like, we're worried about Nelly. Two of my teachers wrote and they're like, we're worried about Nelly. She's changed. Like, nothing's the same. Da 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 da. Even my classes, I was missing class. I was failing more classes now because I just felt like I'm a failure. It's fine. Let me just fail everything. And then I started going for therapy. It was difficult, but I think it was one of the most important things I'd ever done for myself because now I know how to regulate my emotions. I know how to handle stuff. Even now, I still go for therapy. I know how to tell a bad isolation from a good isolation. I think because I'm very introverted, I know I need a lot of time for myself to recharge because when I'm with people, I'm like this. Like so much energy, so much whatever. I need to recharge. So I need it for myself, even if like it's not always a bad thing.
Yeah.
Being in a new country is obviously scary. You're away from your family, like that's a big thing. Even if you have friends, there are just days you wake up and it's like I wish I woke up in my bed at home. Like I woke up and I was looking at my mom or my sisters or whatever. The things that happen around you, like people get sick, you see them going to hospitals, they have no one by their bedside. And there's this prioritization of like academics at the end of the day. That's what you came here for. So it feels
Mhm.
like there's so much going on in your life, but then also it's like you have to focus on one thing, and it's hard sometimes to take care of yourself when it comes to mental health. But I think I'm trying. I hope I'm doing a pretty good job. But I'm just trying to understand myself and name my emotions so I know how to deal with it. Because if you know that, like, now I'm anxious, okay, okay, let me breathe in, let me take some time alone, let me do all these things. Now it's looking like depression. Let me go for therapy, let me get help. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice.
but I
I know
recommend it.
whenever, yeah, it's such a good thing that um, the people around you noticed and were quickly able to, you know, get you the help that you needed.
Yeah,
But that's really great. Very few people can do that. It's
true.
impressive. Yeah. Oh, well, there he goes. And I was just about to ask him a question, but anyway,
But is it
yeah,
like, did you just disconnect or is his network or something?
probably just network issues.
Alrighty. But yeah, how do you, since you see the time that's personal to you, how do you deal with it? How do you handle it? Especially because you're a man.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 10 times harder.
Yeah, for sure. It is hard. I think having people to talk to about these things also helps. In your case, it was a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in my case, it's just knowing I have people that I can talk to. I can call Jackson anytime, like, yo, this is going on. Or I
Yeah.
can call my brother, I can call my family.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that's hard. Um, I do plan on starting uh, some therapy sessions, like going to the therapist. I
Mm-hmm.
currently haven't started, so I
Yeah.
should be doing that. But so far, it's been self-medication, I guess. Just hitting people up, who you're comfortable with, like, hey, this is happening.
Without, yeah.
Yeah, people have been super helpful. I feel like most of the people understand because they're also in a similar situation. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, like they say with therapy, it's just a matter of letting things out, right? Like just talk
Yes.
about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Because I think for men, one thing I've noticed about men is it's sometimes hard for you guys to take each other seriously. Like it's very I've seen very rare male friendships that can sit down and be like, okay, this is a real problem, treat it with
Yeah.
seriousness, and you talk about it like seriously. You mostly just make fun of stuff. And then yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's somewhat true.
Mm.
Uh, sometimes I call Jackson like, "Yo, this is going on," and be like, "Ah, you, that's what's going on." You know, you end up laughing
The
about it.
accent was spot on. That's when you
Yeah, I'm like, bro, I need
And
advice.
it's
This is
for
really
sure. That's
going
how
on.
I
Like,
sound.
you know.
yes. Literally.
But yeah, when it's time to be serious, we are serious, and I feel like
Mm,
I have the right people around me.
I love
How do
that.
you handle your mental health situations, Jackson?
Yeah, having people to talk to.
Mm,
So always like you have friends that you can call for whatever, right? I have people that I know if I want something said
don't
to me,
understand.
I know the right
Mm.
person to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
If
That's
I
true.
call Nelson, I know we're gonna have a laugh. We're gonna like he'll make me happy that way.
Mm,
We'll probably joke about one or two things that we experienced. I
mm-hmm.
call Nathan as well a lot. If I'm going through something, I'm like, yo, Buddha, and then we just start laughing. We can talk for like 2 hours and we just start laughing. So
Oh
just
my.
having those people around me that whenever I'm going through something, I'm missing home or something like that, I can just hit them up and they'll make me feel good. That's the way I handle my mental health mostly.
I love that because I think I've also learned to rely and like appreciate friendships a lot because I think with at least in my case and most people, our families almost don't understand our lives right now. We're
They do
doing
not.
We're doing things
Yeah.
that they didn't do. Um, back home, it just seems so glorious. Like, oh my gosh, glamour! You're in the US. You're earning in
Oh.
dollars. What's
That's
that?
all they think about.
Mm.
Yeah. So just having friends because our friends at the end of the day, the people we've grown to grow with now, and they literally understand us to the core. Like, yeah, like I know right now, even if like yeah, if I told any of these guys what I'm going through, you guys are gonna understand. Like, oh yeah, this is what it is, and I really appreciate
Yeah.
my friends also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Sonichan.
it's on
I
here.
don't know. I don't know what was happening. The iPad started tripping, so I had to switch to my phone. And then my phone looks darker than normal. So I'm just like, what's happening?
Yeah, you look perfectly fine actually.
Yeah, it is fine. That's
Uh,
so funny.
do you have
How long is
any?
this supposed to be? Because it's almost 2 hours.
No,
Yeah,
Is
he
it
was just about
okay?
I
to
was
No.
just
give the
about to conclude. Yeah.
Okay, because I was okay. Because me, I'll never stop talking. One thing about me, I can talk. We stay here for 4 hours.
No, this has been great. I appreciate you being so open and just sharing your views about this. Um, there's so many different topics that I feel are super important moving forward, and just with how we intentionally start having these conversations. Like you said, I think at some point you never know who's watching this. So hopefully, whoever watches this gets one or two things about it, and they get to learn from your experience. And just, I think from my own understanding of things, you've done so much great stuff, and
Mm,
you're still going. So keep at it. If you need any help from from the Beyond Borders people, which is me and Jackson, we're always here if you want to partner with us about anything.
very much.
Please. Yeah, I mean, we can do that, right?
I was joking, but okay.
If there's a caveat to that. If it's for a good cause.
Yeah.
No, yeah, no, for
We
real.
are also
Yeah,
entrepreneurs, so
Right.
opportunities to develop Zambia. We are very passionate about that.
Very, very. And the stuff that you do actually impacts the people who need this help. So thank you and congratulations for all the awards that you've gotten. Really, really super proud of you. You're doing good things. Being the first Zambian at Georgetown, I'm sure it's such a great honor and privilege, and you're flying the Zambian flag high. So keep at it. Thank you for joining. It's been real.
Thank you for having me. You guys are the best. Oh my God. I'll come
Yep.
back when I'm the minister.
Looking forward to that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's get this down.